What's up, everybody? How y'all doing this evening? Um, I want to say before I get on with this video that I've been gaming a lot. So, excuse me for the different excuse me because I haven't been able to do a different type of setting. So I've been gaming, like I just said. And also too is because um I haven't um I haven't got acclimated to the area just yet to where I can get out and do walks and stuff like that. So this is gonna be my setting until I'm able to, just go take walks. Because obviously y'all seen me, when I was outside and stuff like that. But y'all can actually see me do walk and talk videos. That'll be, once I get acclimated, into the area more. So, if you guys see this setting, I do apologize because, um, you know, I ain't got used to the area yet. So this is what it's gonna be for now. So, but anyway, on with this topic. So, I've been sitting here thinking to myself, and although I'm out of the situation that I'm out now, which I'm happy about. I still feel the need to talk about it because for not only do I feel the need to talk about it, but it's therapy for me. Because when I was out in Nevada, I used to go to therapy, and now because I moved, I have to be able to find someone out here, you know, to go do some therapy visits on. And I'm going to do that real soon. Once I get acclimated all the way, I'm going to do that. So since I've been here, I haven't had the therapy, you know, um, and I'm going to get that. And again, when you leave a situation, you're not going to be completely healed from it. I mean, you're going to be away from it, but you're going to have scars, And I've talked about these in my videos that I have scars, due to uh, me ending things not on a good note, you know, or my version of not a good note, because obviously I couldn't talk to my family the way I wanted to talk to them. Let's sit down and have a grown adult discussion. It was always about, if we did, it was more like I'm listening, they're saying what they're saying, I get a word in, maybe a few or two, and it'd be just like that back and forth. It won't be no, oh, let me hear you out for what you really have to say, or you know, or whatever the case may be, because they're disgruntled and them being angry. So yeah, so I feel as though I need to talk about this because of those things. So I was just sitting here thinking, not just today, but the last couple of days, like, now that I'm out of the situation, reflecting back on my life and how I got up to this point, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, all my whole life, I've been, again, 'cause I talked about this before, like doing what someone else want me to do, to be relevant and to be happy. And most of that came from my family. It came from my family because there's always, you know, when I thought, I thought the way we were taught, the way I was taught that, that you need to be out on your own, doing whatever it is that you need to do to make yourself happy, right? And to a degree, I agree with that. But then again, as I think about this more and more, I'm like, nah, that's not really the case. I mean, the only time you'll be able to move, I mean, you'll want to get out of the situations that you don't have to deal with the drama that comes behind it. That's the only thing I can think of as far as getting out on your own. But other than that, you know, by us being human beings and being connected to one another, we crave that connection with people, and it don't always have to come from family, but you want that connection. So, unfortunately for me, it was always being around family, right? And I say unfortunately because it was more bad than good, and the reason why I say this is because it was more like, hey, it was always like, in order for me to accept you, like I said before, that you need to have this, you need to have that. And if you don't have it, then I can't respect you. And it always comes from just talking, right? They will want to see actions behind what you say, right? And if they don't get those actions, they feel like you're not an equal. And me, I felt that I always had to be in the shadow because I'm like, damn, what is it going to take for me to be accepted by my family? You know, is it going to take this or is it going to take that? And then when I do fulfill those things, it's always something else. You know, it's like you have a check. It's like family have a checklist for you, and if you don't check off all them things, you won't be accepted. But you'll see the next person getting accepted because they're always constantly doing X, Y, and Z, right? And so you'll see them, and you wonder, like, damn, what about me? Why can I get accepted this way? Why does it always have to be in a certain bracket in order for you to accept me as a human being? You know, and I'm not talking about just, you accepting me as a human being just by being in your presence and I'm doing my thing, you doing your thing, and then that's cool, right? Nah, what I'm saying by accepting me as a human being, that we sit down and have relationships and we talk, and you know more frequently than just talking on occasions. You know, a lot of that I did around my family. We didn't talk a lot. We didn't go out with each other. We didn't go out. I'm talking about go places and enjoy each other. We didn't sit down and just have long um, discussions about just life in general. Right? It would be like a come together, or it'd be like a funeral. We would get together and then we would exchange each other's numbers, and we're gonna stay in contact with each other, and then we just fade out. And I'm part of that because obviously, I'm thinking, okay, in my mind, it takes a two-way street, right? And I'm at fault because I didn't reach out to those people. But then when I did reach out to those people, my family members, I didn't get the same recognition back. It's just like, we spent so much time away from one another. You know, we even more so, because we stayed away from each other. It was like, well, I don't need you in my life. I don't need to have a relationship with you because, for the simple fact um, that I didn't have one with you now. So what's the whole purpose of me having one with you? Uh, I didn't have a relationship with you back then, so why would I want to have a relationship with you now? There's no purpose in having it, right? And so, you know, I would see these energies depicted on a lot of my family members, man. And then some I was cool with, and I'm still cool with to this day. You know, I would see certain subtleties with them, but it wasn't nothing bad to the point to where we just fell out. But the people I was being around the most, right, you would think that we got a great relationship. But let me tell you something. You could be around a lot of people, a lot of your family members, and don't have no relationship with them at all. Meaning that the relationship, the dynamics are completely different, right? Like y'all don't have to agree with everything, but the dynamics of the relationship is not as close as you think it is. Just because we could be in one room or we could be in a few rooms and we're there together, that don't mean everything is great. And for me, it was like that. And so if you guys have any type of experiences like the one I'm talking about right now, or have something similar, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions about your family dynamics, and if it's going great or if it's going bad, like mine's is. Uh, Let me know in the comments. So, um, yeah, I was, be in the same room, and it was almost like it was, it was almost like the trade off. It was almost like, um, you do something for me, I do something for you. It wasn't really genuine like that. And when you feel a certain particular energy, you'll know like this shit ain't what it is. It's like you feel it, but then that you don't know if that other person feel it, right? Or if they even care. And I would get that more often than not. I would feel it deep down in the depths of my soul, like this relationship is not, it's not it, man. It ain't working. And then when you try to bring it to the forefront to have a discussion with them, to talk to them about what's going on, or bring your or give your input, and just having a healthy conversation, it always turns into some shit. It's always something, man. So, um, you know, inside. It made me feel uh, very, very off. Because I thought that family is everything, and I do still believe to this day that family is everything. But at what I would say this, at what cost is it worth everything? You know, is it you faking it to be around them? Is it you uh, uh, you appeasing them to make it? I mean, to you be a fit in these circles? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the dynamics to do that, because for the simple fact that it just never is a two-way street. It's never that person's at a level and you at a level right along with them. It's more like, you know, this person is up here and you down here, or you may be up a little bit, or they may be higher. It just never like y'all two can see eye to eye together, right? I mean, again, we're two different people. We're still connected, but we're two different people. But that don't mean that we can, it could be as bad as it is. You know, and I felt as though it was in my mind, or maybe I'm just overthinking. I don't know, but as far as I understand, it's more like, you know, um, well, JP, because you didn't do this and do that, do whatever, then, for whatever reason, we can't accept you to this get together, or you can't go here, you can't go there. Not all the time, right? But I'm saying it was more so like, even if I didn't have any money, it's like, okay, we're gonna bring you along anyway because you family. You know what I mean. We ain't gonna let the financial situations uh, break us apart, or just a little mishap or miscommunication, or or things of that nature as to why we need to be divided. You know what I'm saying? And it was never one of those things like that. It was always like I would have a conversation with somebody else on the phone about my family dynamics, which I shouldn't have to do that. And then also it'd be them on the phone with whoever people they're talking about, the people they're talking to about the family dynamics. It was never us together, trying to have some type of common ground to where we can agree on something, to the point to where we can get back together and we can be cool and we can enjoy the rest of our lives, having our relationship the way we have it, And again, it ain't always peachy keen, but at the same time, I can feel as though that you have my back 100%. And I can say with my heart of hearts that I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that. Um, it was always I always felt like my back was against the wall. You know what I'm saying? I felt like my back was against the wall, and I always had to step out on a limb to do that to appease them. And it's more like, how about us come together collectively, or what about me? Am I getting treated equal? You know what I'm saying? Um, I always felt like the eyeball, man. You know, I felt like I was a puppet. Like, they pulling the strings up here. Here's them pulling the strings, and I'm under here. I'm underneath here, and they just pulling the strings for me to for me to just do what they want me to do. And then once they stop, I stop. Until I put my foot down, and then when I put my foot down, then it'd be a whole bunch of other shit. Meaning that it comes to fist fighting or talking a lot of shit to each other, or somebody talking about doing that or whatever. Not. I mean, I didn't let it get to that because I kept kept myself to that degree with self control. But people will talk about that. I don't necessarily talk about that because I'm not a type of guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm more like this. That's how I was raised. But I didn't ever want it to get like that because I'm a lover, not a fighter. But if I have to get them up like this, I would. But I feel like a lot of the stuff that we could have mended, is we could have mended easily if we had discussions, but we didn't have that. Instead, it was that person over there, I'm over here, reaching out to somebody else to have a healthy relationship with them, and then with them, being who they are, I can't have it. It ain't as close. And they always said that family is everything, and don't let outside people influence your family. Uh, you should be able to value your family over everything. And to a degree, I do agree with that. But then also too, I don't agree with that because it's people on the outside that will hear your whole entire story that will treat you way better than some of your people in the family ever did in your whole entire life. Let me say that one more time. It's people that's not your family. They hear your backstory. that treat you way better than what your family ever did in your whole entire life. And it should be like that, right? I have my flaws, just like everybody else has their flaws, right? I do. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat say I don't, right? But I'm always willing uh, to work on my flaws and change them, you know. But I never had that dynamic where, me and the family members can have that to where, it was some part of acceptance. Like, okay, I understand this is not your path, right? This is your path, right? We're gonna love you and respect you regardless of what you don't want to take, right? If you want to take this path, right, we still love you, we still care about you, we still cherish you, right? But it's more so because that person will have this over here, and I'm way over here in the background, and it was always like that, you know. It was always like that. And again, I love my family. I love them, you know. And again, whatever's on my mind, at the moment when we making these videos, I'll talk about it, right? I will. That's just what this challenge is about. It's not about me staying on a trending topic and then I'm keep talking about that. No, I'm gonna talk about what's on my head and what's on my heart. You know, that's what that's what made me build this channel up. From giving you different parts of the journey of my life, right? From where I was to where I am now, but not saying I'm gonna get rid of that part of my life. I am getting rid of that part by removing myself, but I'm saying it's mentally, you know, I can still talk about this stuff because it bothers them, you know. It ain't gonna make me want to do something crazy and strange, but no, this is my therapy to talk to y'all about it, right? And fuck whoever feel that I shouldn't. Oh well, no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep talking about it because this is my therapy. If you don't like what I'm saying, like Martin said, don't let the door will hit you. Oh no, he said no. He didn't say that. He said get to stepping. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how I feel. So, you know, uh, I wish that things were different, but it took me to remove. It takes me. Well, not only this time in the past, it took me to remove myself in order to have a somewhat dynamic with my family. And I would say somewhat, meaning that when I choose to reach out to them, I'll reach out to them, or when they choose to reach out to me, they reach out to me. It was never like, oh, I would get a hunch to call them and say what's up. You know, really the only person I keep in contact with and I talk to this day, right, is my cousin, my little cousin. You know, we be on the phone damn near every day or every other day, right? Because he always called and check up on me. I didn't ask him to do that. He decided to. And he was close. He's close with me and my family when me coming up. He's my little cousin. Because there was certain particular aunties that I had growing up that I pretty much was raised around. And one of them passed away back in '95. I made a video, a long while ago talking about her, about how her death came about. And so if you got time to go look at that, it's under story time. Check that out. But you know, I grew up around my aunties, and I grew up around some of my uncles, and we always was around each other outside of the. I mean, we was an immediate family. Then it was, it branched out, and we didn't hang around those other family members too much. But we hung around each other. But then as we got older, we just went from being together to scattering out, and we never came back like this because we got our own lives and got our own families. But my heart of hearts, I don't think that nobody thinks to keep in touch with one another. And I wish that we can come together to where we could, because right now, the way the world is today, um, we need each other. But you know, my family they have been dysfunctional for a long time, and I'm part of the dysfunction. I'm part of the dysfunction because a part of the family, right? But I wouldn't change it. But what I would change is the dysfunction, because there's so much of it, man. You know, and I think about it every day. I do, but I don't relish in it to the point to where I can't move forward with my life, because if I did, then I wouldn't be here in this space right now today. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing if I was sitting back and relishing in that like that. I'm not doing that. I'm here talking to you guys, making this video, and just talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I just got tired of doing that. I got tired of doing that for them. Even just in general, like the way I was taught. You know, um, now that I'm older, I question it and I wonder. Like, is this life? If this is life the way I'm supposed to live it, the way they taught me, or what I carve out for myself is my life, or with the stuff I've been talking about as far as like, is this by design for me to live this way? As far as somebody else telling me what to do, you know what I'm saying? I think about all this stuff, right? And I really believe, seriously, that the way we're living is not natural. But when you talk so much and it's ingrained in your dome, you're going to defend it to death. You're going to defend it until, you know, uh, you pass on. Like I said, he's going to defend it. And my thing is besides defending it, I want to question it. Fuck defending it. What's defending it going to do? Ain't going to do shit for me. I want to question, the way I was living. Right? It's not natural, man. You know, getting up, deciding to choose what you want to do. That's the way you're supposed to live. And if that day is productive, it isn't productive. So what? You still who you are. Doesn't change you. But people feel like if they don't have this life that's been taught to them, they're not making an impact. And I'm gonna tell you something. I make an impact on everybody, on the people that want to be impacted by my videos. Right? I'm an inspiration to a lot of people. Whether people want to believe it or not, I am, because there's like-minded people like myself who thinks like me, or if they don't think like me, right? They got a hunch, so they understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And what the way I feel. That's what this channel is all about. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just done with that part. I'm done with that chapter of my life. As far as prove myself to them, and even to myself. I really, you know, uh, want to live the rest of my days out in this world, if I could, doing whatever it is that I want to do, and I'm gonna see to it that I do that in whatever way, shape, or form that is. And again, it ain't your life; it's mine. I'm gonna say it again. It's not your life; it's mine. I'm just deciding to share it with you. You know what I'm saying? Because again, me harboring these thoughts and me thinking about it, it's not gonna do no justice for me. I need to get it out because it's gonna piss me off. You know what I'm saying? And so I'd rather come on here on this platform and share it with you guys, right? And let's connect, as always, in the comments. We were looking forward to hearing what you got to say. So don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to hype the video up. Don't forget to share it, because sharing helps the algorithm and to get my video pushed out. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so you won't miss a video whenever I drop it. I got more to come, as always. Cranking these videos out, and doing the best I can to stay up to date with you guys, man, and let you guys know what's going on in my world. But you know, the reason why I haven't been dropping too is because I have been dropping, but I'm saying the reason why I haven't been dropping like I used to is because of the circumstance and because of my gaming. But I love y'all. I wouldn't change nothing in this world, man. I would keep it just the way it is. You know. So with that being said, you guys take it easy, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm gone.